All right, everybody. Aaron Breitman, the Scarlet Faithful, coming to you after Rutgers was officially left out of the 2023 NCAA tournament. Obviously, major gut punch. They were pretty much all the bracketologists, for the most part, was the final count on bracket matrix was 78 out of 83. Had Rutgers counted in the field. There's a stat out there that any team 95% or better projected in has never been left out in the era of the bracket matrix. 78 out of 83 actually falls to 94%, but I don't know what if there was ever any close calls before, but yeah, it's a terrible conclusion to chasing the dance. Rutgers CPICO did confirm they will accept an NIT bid, which will come out later tonight. I believe it's 10 p.m. on ESPNU. So Rutgers will play in the NIT. We'll get at least a home game, probably a 1 seed. But, this is rough. I tweeted the Minnesota loss, we'll take to the grave. I know I will. Up 10, a minute 15 to go. I think ultimately having those 4 quad 3 losses really bit them. Seton Hall obviously falling apart against DePaul, hurt. You had some bad breaks. Wisconsin kind of fell off at the end, as was a Q1 for a while. The Michigan State game, they were right on the cusp of becoming a Q1, even though NCAA took that away, made it a home game. Michigan State was number 31 going into the Big Ten tournament and lost to Ohio State. So many what ifs. Obviously, the Ohio State game, and I had a few people tweeted me, yes, I stand by my report that, the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee was aware of and taking into consideration the Big Ten's admission that the game-winning shot should not have counted. Obviously, it wasn't, didn't come into play with a tiebreaker. I thought that's how it probably would, because they announced that Rutgers wasn't even the last team out, which to me almost is more shocking than Rutgers not making it. That they had Oklahoma State ahead of them. Nevada did make it. If you look at those resumes, we always hear that the committee values big wins, road wins. Rutgers had a lot of those. I published it last night. My case for Rutgers, they were only one of 19 teams in the field, or projected in the field that had 7 or more wins against teams projected in the field. There were 15 with more than 7, and then only 4, including Rutgers, that had 7 wins against the projected field. So I thought that was a huge thing. The quad 1 victories. That win at Purdue was massive. Arguably the best win of any team in the country. At Purdue, top 5. Net team, number 1 at the time. They got a number 1 seed. There was a lot to like. There was a lot to not like. Strength of record was probably an issue, although Nevada had 1 spot worse. So that's a little confounding. But I think obviously a non-conference strength of schedule came into play. Pico was asked about the schedule and if he's going to readdress it, and was pretty much didn't really want to answer it. Did say he felt like they were just 1 win short, whatever 1 win you look at. And sadly, it was probably Minnesota. Obviously, this team, I think the NCAA committee said on CBS, they referenced player availability as part of it. There's not supposed to be any recency bias, but obviously Rutgers going 3-7 without Mawat Mag, I think was, that coupled with some bad losses. Although, listen, losing Nebraska and Seton Hall are not really bad losses in terms of college basketball. Metrics-wise, they were. But I think with the Mawat Mag thing, more than anything, probably bit them with the strength of record. Those 2 in combination, that's my guess. I don't have any, insight on that. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Anytime, you get so close to an NCAA tournament bid, Rutgers in end of January, early February was in prime position. It was, they were projected as a 5 seed at one point. Their KenPom's still 35. If you look at it that way, and yes, it's not just KenPom, but that's a top 9 seed in terms of efficiency. And that's not how, everything is judged, but I'm just giving an example. Their net was 40, so that's, a 10 seed if you just go off of that, and obviously they don't. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. You got to feel for these seniors, for Caleb McConnell in particular, the only player that, cannot come back I just feel terrible for him. I thought he, played his guts out all year, played his heart out. Team went through a lot of injuries. I mean, a lot of what ifs, and I think that's what I don't know. Maybe every couple of teams that barely miss the NCAA tournament have a bunch of what ifs every year, but I mean, this team really had a bunch of what ifs. The Ohio State loss, the Minnesota loss, the injuries. Caleb, Paul. We don't know how injured they've been down the stretch. I think that played a role in them going 3-7 without Mag. I think the the starters, the wear and tear hurt. I think another what if that you could ask is the development of Derek Simpson, the development of Antoine Woolfolk. I mean, they both played great in the Big Ten tournament. Should things have gotten shooken up a little bit sooner? I think that's fair to wonder. Maybe after the Nebraska loss, I think I've said this before, should maybe a shakeup have happened sooner? We don't know if that would have, changed the results. But obviously, the way Rutgers played in the Big Ten tournament was really encouraging. And now the shift is the NIT. No one wants to, I mean, listen, I get it. It's nothing to be excited about. From a NCAA tournament perspective, Pikiell did say he's not going to apologize for postseason berths at Rutgers. And he's right. He's right. We went, we barely made the NIT in the 30-year drought of the NCAA tournament. We saw what good can come from it in 2004 when they made the NIT final. They lost to Michigan, and that definitely helped that program. So, yeah, I hope the guys play really hard. I hope the development time really helps the team, the younger players, changing of roles. I think there is surely a positive that can come from this. A chip on this program's shoulder moving forward can be a positive. Pikiell was asked about the non-conference schedule. We'll see if he does improve it. I think that would be a positive. So, there's a lot to think about that's kind of the, I don't want to say fallout, but the result of this not making it, some puzzled, Nevada, I think NC State had one quad one win. They made it straight as a 11 seed. When I saw that was, I think, the first region. That's when I got really worried. That didn't seem good. And then obviously going in the East region, with the first four already selected. So, it's been a roller coaster season. There's been a lot of good that's come from it. Obviously, it didn't end the way one of us wanted it. And I think, we just... These kids are human, and I think injuries ultimately took its toll, and I'm sure more will come out. But I guess I am speculating, but I don't know for sure. But it just seems like injuries had to play a part in this. We know Caleb McConnell. I'm sure Paul's dealing with something, and you want to say it's an excuse, but it's just the reality of this team not being able to perform at the level. I think mentally they had some issues too. And it's unfortunate they weren't able to turn around sooner, because I think where they were headed at the Big Ten tournament was super encouraging. And I think, moving forward, listen, everything should be evaluated, right? I mean, I know they say everything's evaluated after every season, but from, Coach Pikiell's perspective, I hope that everything's evaluated within the program. Again, falling just short of the NCAA tournament was very disappointing for this season. From the perspective of the program of where he's taken it, it's still nothing to sneeze at, but obviously we want to get the program past this point, where we're not sweating bullets on Selection Sunday 3 years in a row, I think in a way a lot of good can come from this. It doesn't feel that way right now, but I think if Pikiell reevaluates everything within the program, and that doesn't mean drastic changes have to happen. I just think that, it's a great opportunity to really look at everything, and I knowing him, I think he will. And I'm certainly going to ask him about that this offseason. But I think that it's at this point, I just being a fan. I mean, it's heartbreaking for the kids, for the players, how hard they've worked, and the position that we're in, and just falling short. I have to imagine Rutgers was the second team out, and a lot of what ifs this season, a lot of great memories. It was a very taxing season. I mean, this was this is a tough season. It was a lot of great moments, but a lot of heartbreak too, a lot of adversity. And I think I feel for all Rutgers fans tonight. And all I can say is I do think there should be supreme confidence that this program is going to move forward and benefit from this, and there are better days ahead. I don't think that this is going to lead to any downfall or kind of more regression from here. Obviously, recruiting is at a high level. Rutgers is going to have to hit the transfer portal hard. We'll see who comes back. A lot of questions. And still, again, it's not the offseason. They will accept an NIT bid tonight. And I'll be obviously covering that. So this won't be the last you hear from me, and I'll probably have more thoughts and perspective in the days ahead. But appreciate everyone that's been watching and following along all my coverage at thescarletfaithful.com. Thank you.